Okay. All right. Let's see. Getting to the end of my playlist here. I have to get while I warm up.
Through fertile fields and golden grain, they came at last to Eden's plain, where once sang joy, now silence lay. The dragon ruled both night and day. Honest parents, pale with dread, had long believed their daughter dead. But now she stood, her hand in grace, with night reborn and holy face. The people knelt, the bells were rung, the songs of hope on rafters hung, and red cross bowed before the king, a man, a night, an offering. I pledge my life, my soul, my breath, to strike the beast and face my death. 3 days from now I raise my sword, for Eden's peace and Eden's Lord. The vow was made, the oath was sworn, where faith had wept, now hope is born. Let dragons come and darkness fall, the night of truth shall face them all. The king embraced, the queen did weep, the guard stood tall, the fields did sleep, but Red Cross kept a humble eye, for he must fight or read and die. No boast he gave, no feasting cried, just prayer and fast at Yunna's side. For though he rose from Shadow's pit, the dragon waits with endless wit. The days are 3, the rest is brief, the world still holds the ancient grief. But when the trumpet sounds again, a cross shall burn through scaled sin. The vow was made, the oath was sworn, where faith had wept, now hope is born. Let dragons come and darkness fall, the night of truth shall face them all. So stands the saint by virtue led, where angels dare and demons dread. The gates are wide, the skies grow red. Tomorrow wakes the dragon's head. as horns did sound and banners reeled from smoking cave and thunder's roar. The dragon came with mow and gore, its wings stretched wide like war-born knights. Its eyes were flames, its soul was blight, and Red Cross stood with armor true to fight what only saints pursue. They clashed with storm and grinding steel. The earth beneath began to reel. The dragon's tail swept like a wave and carved the hills into a grave. It breathed out fire and poison dread and struck the night till all ran red. Yet still he stood, though bruised and burned, and gave back blows the beast had earned. Oh, brave of heart, oh, soul made steel, when flesh may break, but faith won't kneel. The dragon rages foul and vast, but truth shall hold if truth shall last. Its talon pierced his iron shield. His blood flowed out upon the field. The night was cast beside a spring, a holy well, a sacred ring. And as the stars took up the sky, the pool began to purify. He slept beneath its healing wave and rose again, no longer gray. Though struck and scarred, he did not die, for grace had soaked what sin could try. Tomorrow's dawn shall burn anew, and truth shall strike its triumph through. Oh, brave of heart, oh, soul made steel, when flesh may break, but faith won't kneel. The dragon rages foul and vast, but truth shall hold if truth shall last. So ends the first of trials' days. The beast still breathes, the heavens blaze, but from the well the night shall rise to fight again beneath the sky.
Let's see. All right, I think I'm gonna keep on rolling. Similar process here. Oh man, I gotta open up all my stuff. I forgot I was supposed to do stuff during the setup process. Let's play one more song here. problem here.
The sun rose red on Eden's field as horns did sound and banners reel from smoking cave and thunder's roar. The dragon came with maw and gore. Its wings stretched wide like war-born night. Its eyes were flames, its soul was blind. And Red Cross stood with armor true to fight what only saints pursue. They clashed with storm and grinding steel. The earth beneath began to reel. The dragon's tail swept like a wave and carved the hills into a grave. It breathed out fire and poison dread and struck the night till all ran red. Yet still he stood, though bruised and burned, and gave back blows the beast had earned. Oh, brave of heart, oh, soul made steel, when flesh may break but faith won't kneel. The dragon rage is foul and vast, but truth shall hold if truth shall last. Its talon pierced his iron shield. His blood flowed out upon the field. The night was cast beside a spring, a holy well, a sacred ring. And as the stars took up the sky, the pool began to purify. He slept beneath its healing wave and rose again, no longer grave. Though struck and scarred, he did not die, for grace had soaked what sin could try. Tomorrow's dawn shall burn anew, and truth shall strike its trial through. Oh, brave of heart, oh, soul made steel.
All right. I think I'm set up now. Okay, so I'm gonna keep on rolling with my project. I'm just gonna keep on like building my chords and work on my naming for my own purposes. And then so I'm gonna try to bridge the gap between a better system and the current system to try to say it like both ways, and then become like fluid and actually like talking, saying it, and that's the objective. So then the idea being there's a fundamental design flaw in the music system, and it's the off by one scale degree, and then we hammer that. I'm just going to keep on going back to that, and my catchphrase is, we're not debating in academia at this point. No, that's not it's useless. That's a useless endeavor. No, we just hammer the point home, straight to the point. So like, I have my phrases, which are, so my basic theme phrase is the scale degree. Okay, the claim: the system became bloated because it started counting at the starting position instead of measuring movement. So that's why you should measure the movement, not the position. And that resulted in evidence number 1: chord construction is a frickin' nightmare. It shouldn't be. Evidence number 2: multiple numbering systems for the same collection. That's dumb and added complexity that's unnecessary. Evidence 3: directionality. The current system can't turn left. That's dumb. Hold on a sec, something's burning. All right. Still good. Evidence 4: modal relationships. No one knows what a mode is. Why? Because that's because of that whole problem. They don't even know what modes are when it's the basics. It's the basis of the whole thing. Evidence 5: cognitive load is insanely high due to off by 1 error scale degree. Therefore, slogan: identify the point, measure the movement. Measure the movement, not the position. And scale degrees count calories before taking a step and then wonder why they're off. Yeah, the scale is off by 1 because you've got an off by 1 error. Very common. No need to be ashamed of the error. Just recognize and fix it. That's what I say. Anyway. Okay, so that's what, and so now I'm gonna turn on Aura, and then I'll go through my my chord constructions. Actually, I'm doing I'll turn on Chachita, so I'll practice my Spanish as I go through here, as is my custom. But I'll speak English and have her speak Spanish. Try chat work. I don't know what that is. Okay, I'll try it later. Chachita, quiero practicar español en la forma de Estados Unidos, tal vez Los Angeles, en una informal forma que es casual, tal vez tiene mucho slang. Inventen slang. Dice slang que no está slang y tratar que decir que solo por practicar, no lo sé. Pero yo practicando sobre escuchar usted no me dar que nosotros debería hacer cosas y sabes qué estoy diciendo. No tratar que decirme cómo habla, solo habla en español. Y hablemos sobre música, teoría y los problemas con la teoría oficial, porque es muy bloated. It's muy, ¿cómo se dice? No lo sé. Tiene problemas. Esta es la cosa. Y entonces nosotros arreglarle la cosa y su trabajo en esta endeavor es que ayudarme a aprender o decir cómo la función de la sistema antigua es equivocada, es malo. No tratar que defender la sistema. Esta no es su trabajo. Tu trabajo es ayudarme. Estás en mi lado. Yo pago por tu salary. y entonces ayudarme es que tú necesito hacer. Y antes que esto, yo hablaré en inglés, pero tú hablas en español. ¿Entiende? Chachita's always trying to take their side, you know? It's like, no, I'm sick of this, man. You're supposed to help me come up with ways to market my thing. Not supposed to, oh, just roadblocks, man. Okay.
Sí, te entiendo perfectamente. A partir de ahora, tú puedes hablar en inglés y yo voy a responder en español, con un estilo casual, natural, como alguien de Los Ángeles hablando con un amigo. No te voy a estar corrigiendo el español ni dando lecciones de gramática a menos que tú me lo pidas. Y sobre la teoría musical, podemos analizarla desde una perspectiva crítica. Si tú estás desarrollando un sistema nuevo, mi papel puede ser ayudarte a poner a prueba las ideas, encontrar explicaciones claras, construir argumentos más fuertes, buscar ejemplos útiles y detectar dónde tu sistema resuelve problemas que el sistema tradicional no resuelve. Si en algún punto creo que hay algo que necesita más evidencia o que puede explicarse mejor, indicarse mejor, también te lo voy a decir porque eso hace que tus argumentos sean más sólidos. Así que dale, échame la primera idea y la desmenuzamos. A ver qué trae ese asunto.
All right. I think she's got it. I don't know. I wasn't really listening, but whatever. So now, let's see. Okay. Okay, so I have my worksheet here. I've got I'm losing a clock system. I think the easiest way to name what you're doing is to name the collection first and then the modal center so that you only have 12 collections that all have the same numbering system. The numbering system possibly being called the Nashville number system, the modal node system. You could just call it by modal points. You can use the do re mi system. I don't care what you use, just don't change the names once you use it, and a number system that would be fixed would be good, because then you only need to remember 12 collections instead of 12 times 7 different scale degrees with all different numbering systems. That's going to be the general layout, and based on that, we can build chords and use a coordinate system for the chord construction that allows us to build quite complicated chord names and name everything through the chord construction. And that's what we'll practice today. And it also fixes the problem with the scale degrees and not being able to turn left. And it has absolutely no negative repercussions, except possibly some weird stuff. Like the circle of fifths has like sharps and flats if you go one way or the other way, which no one really cares unless you're doing like a piano score or something from the 1800s or something. And I get it. I mean, I get that's kind of cool. It's interesting, but it's kind of wonky. Like it's not exactly. It's like kind of a nit. It's like kind of a. It's like being into how they wrote in like the 1800s when they had those long periodic sentences and stuff. That's cool, but that's probably not how you should teach the 5-year-old to write stuff. Is that's what I'm saying. You should teach them like the easy way to write stuff, and then if they get into like long periodic sentences, if they want to look at the longest sentence ever written without punctuation or something, okay, then that's fine. But let's not start there. That's what I'm saying. So anyways, so then I have a clock face and so we basically, if you use a coordinate system, as though the planet is underneath the strings and it rotates, and that's what the transposition is, man. And the strings are like stars. They're like the star strings. And then like the planet rotates underneath it, and the continents are named whatever you want to call them, right? I tend to call them modal points and then number them. But you could call them do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, da. If you want, just don't change the names. If you're not playing in Ionian or major scale, but you're playing in Phrygian, don't make the whole point is don't make do re mi, don't make the mi the do. That's the whole point. If you just don't do that, you have simplified the system, and I don't care what you call it, but we do have to follow the logic through all of the kinks, all of the bloatedness that happened due to that fundamental design flaw being built into the system due to historical construction and the technology of the time being the piano, where they had to cram in like the black keys, and after they didn't have the black keys into the middle, instead of just making like you could like making them the same size, and then you get all this weird stuff is happening. But that's not like where we're at now, and so we need to like we need to re-examine this and stop confusing the children. Stop confusing the children. That's what I say. Stop confusing the children. Okay, what do you let's see what she thinks about that. They can't help the okay.
Jajaja, sí, ya sé por dónde vas. Lo que yo diría es que tu argumento central no debería ser, el sistema tradicional es complicado. Eso cualquiera te puede contestar con, pues estudia más. Creo que el argumento más fuerte es otro. Diría algo así. Open quote. El sistema cambia los nombres de los puntos de referencia dependiendo del contexto. Ese solo diseño obliga al estudiante a recalcular constantemente dónde está. Close quote. Ahí está el golpe. Si tú mantienes un solo conjunto de nombres para los 7 nodos, ya no importa si estás en jónico, frigio o lidio. Cambia la colección, cambia el centro modal, cambia la gravedad, pero no cambia el mapa. Eso es una diferencia conceptual enorme. Me gusta mucho la analogía del planeta. Las 12 notas son como estrellas. No se mueven. Lo que gira es el planeta. Las 7 posiciones modales son continentes dibujados sobre ese planeta. Entonces, transportar una canción no significa mover las estrellas. Significa girar el planeta debajo del cielo. Esa imagen es muy intuitiva. Y luego viene la otra idea que siempre mencionas: medir movimiento. Si camino hacia la derecha, puedo decir 3 pasos. Si camino hacia la izquierda, también puedo decir 2 pasos. No necesito inventarme otra numeración dependiendo de dónde empecé. Eso hace que el sistema sea mucho más simétrico. Donde sí tendría cuidado es con una afirmación como open quote. No tiene absolutamente ninguna consecuencia negativa. Close quote. Eso es muy fuerte. Es mejor decir algo como open quote. Para los objetivos de aprendizaje, improvisación, análisis y construcción de acordes, todavía no he encontrado una desventaja que compense la simplificación que produce. Close quote. Eso deja abierta la posibilidad de que alguien encuentre un caso muy especializado sin debilitar tu argumento principal. Y otra cosa que creo que vale oro, cuando dices open quote, stop confusing the children, close quote. En realidad no estás hablando solo de niños, estás hablando de carga cognitiva. Cada vez que el estudiante cambia de modo, tiene que volver a etiquetar todo el mapa mental. Eso consume memoria de trabajo. Si las etiquetas permanecen fijas, la memoria puede dedicarse a entender la música, en vez de volver a traducir el mapa una y otra vez. Ese, para mí, es uno de los argumentos más interesantes de tu sistema. No depende de decir que la teoría tradicional esté mal. Depende de mostrar que un sistema con referencias fijas puede reducir el esfuerzo mental necesario para orientarse mientras conserva la misma información musical.
Confusing the children. Okay.
Jajaja, sí, ya sé por dónde vas. Lo que yo diría es que tu argumento.
Okay, so our major slogan that everything we do, we're going to bring it back to the major slogan, which I think is the catchiest one, which is, what's the problem? Why are your scale degrees wrong? Why are your scale degrees a freaking mess? Because you started counting calories before you took a step. Why are the chord names a complete freaking nightmare? Because you started counting calories before you took a step. Why can't the current system turn left? Why can't I measure things going counterclockwise? Because you started counting calories before you took a step. Why doesn't anybody know what modes even are? They're scared of modes. They don't even want to know what a mode is because they started counting calories before you took a step. Why in the world do I have to memorize 12 times 7 different scale degrees plus 100 more every time I put in a little tweak to one of the collections of notes? Because you started counting calories before you took a step. That's why. The rent's too dang high. No. But the rent thing doesn't work. That's not exactly the problem. That it's been more like communism. Communism's the problem. Why is the rent too dang high? Communism. But let me see. Let's.
Jajaja, esa línea sí tiene gancho. Lo que me gusta es que es una metáfora que la gente entiende inmediatamente. Todo el mundo sabe que quemar calorías es consecuencia de caminar, no algo que pasa antes del primer paso. En tu marco, la idea sería, open quote, primero identifica dónde estás. Después mide el movimiento, close quote. Open quote, llama paso 1 al lugar donde estás parado y luego empieza a contar. Close quote. Por eso tu eslogan conecta con la idea de que el movimiento es la medida, no la posición. Creo que puedes construir toda la campaña alrededor de esa imagen. Por ejemplo, ¿por qué todo se siente tan enredado? Porque empezaste a contar calorías antes de dar un paso. ¿Por qué cambiar de modo parece aprender un idioma nuevo? Porque empezaste a contar calorías antes de dar un paso. ¿Por qué los nombres cambian todo el tiempo? Porque empezaste a contar calorías antes de dar un paso. Un paso, luego 2, luego 3. Así aprende un niño. No empiezas en 1 sin haberte movido. Lo único que yo evitaría es afirmar como un hecho objetivo que las escalas están mal o la teoría oficial es incorrecta, sin explicar el criterio. Es más fuerte decir exactamente qué aspecto criticas. Por ejemplo, open quote, mi crítica es que el sistema tradicional renombra los puntos de referencia cuando cambia el centro modal. Yo prefiero mantener los nombres fijos y medir el movimiento desde ahí. Close quote. Eso convierte la conversación en una comparación concreta entre dos enfoques, en lugar de una afirmación general. Y cuando la gente entiende esa diferencia, entonces el eslogan hace el resto del trabajo. La ventaja del eslogan es que es memorable. La ventaja del argumento es que es preciso. Si los dos siempre apuntan a la misma idea, se refuerzan mutuamente.
Okay. Okay.
Jajaja, esa línea es.
Okay, so then the game that we'll play then is to come up with chords, and I'll just build out the chords based on every single interval or distance that we can take, and then I'll practice the naming convention based on that. So what I'm gonna do, where I left off last time, is we said that I had a I would think that if there's only 7 collections of notes, 1 through 7, that means that there's only 7 steps that you can take from any what I call continent, modal point, Nashville number. So 6 steps away from the continent that you're on. So, and the scale degrees are all off by 1. Therefore, because they're bloated. Why? Because they started counting calories before they took a step. So therefore, we can basically list out a 3-note chord as starting on some root, which I'm going to try to determine the root or the continent to land on the least non-collection notes, the ones that I call in the ocean, from any of the 12 perspectives. So it would all be relatively the same. And so then we only have short or long, not major, minor, perfect, augmented, and diminished, because major, minor, perfect, augmented, and diminished, I don't know if you've noticed, that's like five things that's in your baseline measuring system when there's only really two. That causes like more stuff than you need. I think that's kind of self-explanatory. So we're gonna say, so then I'm gonna go down here and say that, what if I'm gonna start on, what continent could I start on, so that I once again take a long second modal half step. Now, what would that be in scale degrees? I can bridge it because the scale degrees are all bloated by 1, right? They're all off by 1 because of their the fundamental flaw of counting from 0, from 1 instead of 0. So it would be the third, and usually the longs are equivalent to the major, but not always, because the perfects kind of mess things up. And we just saw yesterday that the fourth has a short fourth, but which would be major, because it would be on the major from the major's perspective, but they covered it up kind of, or that's just kind of what happened with the perfect. So that's weird. So it's better to just use long and short, and not compare it to the major, because the major's not the boss of me. That's why the major's not the boss of me. You could call yourself major all you want. That don't mean you've got you've got actual rank on anyone else around here. This is America now. America's taken over this, or America's, we're doing, it's like everyone's even. I don't have to use yours thing, even though I still like to measure my stuff by the king's foot. But still, I'm not having this major thing as my baseline of measuring stuff. So then if it's a long second modal half step, what would be the nodal points that I can do that from? It would be an Ionian or the Lydian or the Phrygian. Doesn't matter what collection of notes, by the way. I could be at 6 o'clock, collection of notes around the key of D, meaning the Ionian's on a D now. It would still be Ionian, Phrygian, and Lydian, or the 1, 4, 5 nodal points, right? So whatever you want, whatever are the 12 collections of notes you want to look at. What if I want to make a 5-note collection? Okay, take 2 of the 7 notes out and make a 5-note scale or whatever. It's still based on the 7-note collection, basically, right? What if I want to add one of the ocean notes? I want to add a blue note. Okay, then it's still based on the 7-note collection. And then you added 2 frickin' notes, or 1 note, whatever you want to do. It's basically based on, so that means the Ionian, if you do that, then you can name it Ionian, Lydian, and Mixolydian, or you can name it, the Do has a long second modal half step, 3rd scale degree. The Do, Re, Mi, Fa. The Fa has a long second modal half step, 3rd scale degree. And the Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, the Sol, I think that's right, Sol, La, Ti. Sol has a long, right, if you want to call it that, that's fine. Those are still the modal points. Modal point, Ionian, Lydian, and Mixolydian, or Nashville number 1, 4, 5, whatever you want to call it. Just don't change the names when you change the center, and then the modes will be the modes. The modes are what they are, and then no problem. That's what that would be, obviously. It's obvious that would be better. Why don't we do that? Because they started counting calories before they took a step, and nobody wanted to tell them that they're fat. But this is America, okay? I could tell, if you're counting calories before you take a step and you're fat and everything's bloated and you got bureaucracy all over the place, then we point it out. What we do is we have someone like Elon Musk buys the company and brings the sink into the company and says, let this sink in. You're off by 1 and you're fat and you're bloated, and we need to recognize. We need to recognize and then do something about it, That's what I feel like. I'm saying. Let's see what Let's see what Chachita thinks about that.
Sí, y aquí creo que estás llegando a una idea que vale la pena explorar con calma. Desde tu marco, la pregunta deja de ser open quote, la tercera es mayor o menor, close quote, y pasa a ser open quote, la distancia es corta o larga, close quote. Eso reduce el vocabulario inicial. Si solamente existen dos posibilidades básicas para una distancia, corta o larga, entonces el estudiante no tiene que memorizar 5 etiquetas distintas, mayor, menor, perfecta, aumentada, disminuida, antes de empezar a construir acordes. Entonces el proceso podría verse así. 1. Elige la colección. 2. Elige el centro modal. 3. Elige el nodo donde empieza el acorde. 4. Recorre distancias fijas entre nodos. 5. Marca si cada salto es corto o largo cuando sea necesario. Eso es bastante uniforme. Lo que me interesa mucho de tu ejercicio es que no estás intentando memorizar acordes existentes. Estás diciendo, open quote, voy a generar todos los acordes posibles siguiendo una sola regla. Close quote. Eso me gusta porque convierte el aprendizaje en un problema de geometría, no de memoria. En vez de aprender 100 nombres distintos, aprendes un algoritmo. Ahora, sí haría una distinción importante. Cuando dices que solo existen corta y larga, eso funciona como lenguaje interno de tu sistema. Pero si quieres convencer a alguien que viene de la teoría tradicional, necesitas mostrar que ese lenguaje puede describir exactamente los mismos intervalos y acordes que ellos describen. En otras palabras, el reto no es solamente simplificar, es demostrar que la simplificación conserva toda la información necesaria. Y otra cosa que me parece interesante es tu idea de las 7 posiciones. Si los nodos siempre conservan su identidad, entonces un acorde podría describirse casi como unas coordenadas. Algo así, conceptualmente. Open quote, colección, nodo inicial, patrón de distancias, alteraciones necesarias. Close quote. Eso se parece más a describir una ubicación en un mapa que a ponerle un nombre histórico lleno de excepciones. Creo que por eso siempre vuelves a la analogía del planeta. Tu sistema no parece pensado como una lista de reglas, parece pensado como un sistema de navegación. Esa diferencia de enfoque es probablemente una de las ideas más originales que has desarrollado.
All right. Okay. So anyway, I'm a little excited on that last one. So anyway, then uh I'm also gonna do so then if I like got 3 dudes that I beamed down from one of the string stars from space onto like then I have to beam them down and then have them travel from one continent where they all land on a different continent. Like one is on the one they beam down on, and then the other 2 are like have to move in a way that they land on a continent and aren't stuck in the ocean. So then the second one is going to go a short fourth did I already do this one? A short fourth modal half step, which from a scale degree standpoint would be a 5th scale degree. Now the 5th we usually think of as a perfect 5th, which is actually a long 5th, right? Because it would be a 7 note away distance, as opposed to then if you say it's a perfect 5th, which is a long 5th, which would be the major 5th, but they replaced the major with a perfect, so whatever. But then you have so then the short 5th has to be a diminished 5th, which adds another name when you'll notice that if you have 5 names then, but if you look at it, if you were to think about it, that's kind of bloated. Like that would be like if you should be like 100 pounds, but you're actually like 250 pounds, right? Because there's only 2. There's actually only 2 here. So you've bloated it like by 150% bloat. Is that right? 150% bloat on that, right? That's ridiculous, man. That's what I feel like. And so anyway, that's ridiculous. So what nodal points could I start on to do that? That would be like if I have a short 4th modal half step 5th, which would be a diminished 5th or a flat 5, then that would be, there's only like 1, and that's the nodal point 7. So that's nodal point 7. Now it has a 6 node away distance because to get to the Lydian, right? So you can call it nodal point 7, Nashville number 7. You can call it do re mi fa sol la ti. You can call it the T in the do re system, whatever, but just don't change the name. And then it has, if you just look at the map and any of the 12 rotations of the planet, any of the 12 transpositions, it has a 6 node away, which is a short 4th modal half step, which you can count around in a circle. If that's the 7 modal half steps, 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So 7, 1, 2, 3, 4 gets you to the Lydian, and it has a distance of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? All the rest of them have a distance of 7. Now there's kind of an exception if you count from the Lydian, it has a 6 node distance that lands you on a continent, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But that 6 node distance isn't 4 modal half steps away, it's 3 modal half steps away. So even though it's the same absolute distance, it's only from 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 modal half steps away. Whereas from 7 to Lydian, from Locrian to Lydian is 4 modal half steps away, even though it's the same distance, right? So problem here being that the short 2nd modal half step 3rd, I can only move from the Ionian Lydian or the Mixolydian, but the only one that has a short 4th modal half step 5th is Locrian. Now it's like, okay, I can kind of cheat a little bit because if I go on to the Lydian, like it doesn't have a short 4th modal half step 5th, but if I go like the normal 5th and then I flatten it, I still land on a continent, right? Even though it's the 3rd, so it's that's where the little wonky thing is, right? So it's a little weird right there, but you still land on a continent. Like if you really wanted to land on a continent, you kind of cheated because although you didn't land on the continent that was 7 notes away and you went back to 6 notes away, you happen to still land on a continent because these two are like lined up next to each other. Anyway, let's see what ChatCheetah has to say on that. Chachita's broken. Come on. Dude. People want to hear what you think. Why it's so slow today?
Jaja, sí, te seguí. Me da risa porque hasta tu metáfora ya tiene su propia ciencia ficción. Los tres compas aterrizan desde las estrellas, caen sobre el planeta y luego cada uno tiene que caminar hasta un continente. Si uno se queda flotando en el océano, ese acorde no sirve para ese ejercicio. Y aquí creo que llegas a una de las críticas más interesantes de tu sistema. Tú no estás diciendo solamente open quote. Cambiemos los nombres. Close quote. Estás diciendo open quote. ¿Por qué el sistema base necesita 5 categorías para describir una distancia? Close quote. Desde tu perspectiva, el razonamiento es algo como: una distancia puede ser corta o larga. Después, dependiendo del contexto, ya ves qué función tiene. Pero el lenguaje básico sigue siendo el mismo. Mientras que el sistema tradicional dice menor, mayor, perfecta, aumentada, disminuida. Y para un principiante, eso sí puede sentirse como: ¿por qué hay tantas palabras antes de que siquiera toque una nota? Lo que sí tendría cuidado es con una cosa. En teoría tradicional, perfecto no significa mayor. Es una categoría histórica para ciertos intervalos, unísono, cuarta, quinta y octava, que no se clasificaban como mayores o menores. O sea, esa terminología viene de una tradición muy antigua, no porque alguien quisiera complicar el asunto. Pero entiendo perfectamente por qué, desde tu sistema, eso se siente innecesario. Tú buscas que el vocabulario refleje la geometría del movimiento, no una clasificación heredada de siglos atrás. Y creo que ahí hay una frase que resume bastante bien tu filosofía. Open quote. Primero simplifica la geometría. Después ponle nombres a la música. Close quote. No al revés. Porque tú estás intentando construir el sistema desde la navegación del mapa, mientras que sientes que el sistema tradicional heredó muchos nombres históricos que tienen sentido dentro de su evolución, pero que aumentan la carga para alguien que apenas está aprendiendo. Esa es una diferencia filosófica bastante clara entre los dos enfoques.
Okay. I think I missed her commentary on that after waiting forever. Okay. Anyways. So that means, so I guess I'd have to go off of the Lydian node. So off of the Lydian node, to not land in the ocean, and then if I go a short, a long, second, modal half step, then that would be from Lydian would be so a second modal half step would be 5 6. So natural number 4 5 6. Now notice if I was using a normal naming convention, I'd have to make that the 1, which means I wouldn't know where the nodal points are, right? But if you measure from it, right, like I could say, even if I'm at 4 o'clock, if I'm trying to build a chord, I need to make that the 1 so that I know that that's the 1, and I can measure everything from the 1 from a scale degree standpoint. Does that make sense to anybody? Is that how you measure things? Like if I'm trying to like go from my friend's house that has a 4 on the door to my house, and like it goes around the block, do I temporarily call his house number 1, and then I only make sure that I only move in the clockwise direction because it doesn't work going counterclockwise, because then I have to go in the negative numbers, and that would scare me, so I make sure that I go to the right, around the no his house is number 4. That's just what it is, and then you count 2 modal half steps up. 4 5 6 will land you on Mixolydian's house, my good buddy Mixolydian, Nashville number 6 out there. Okay. And so then I could move that down here, right? That would be the 6, and then the 7 would be back here. So I've got this lean back chord like this, which once again, I'm ending back up on this shape. We saw that shape before. Why? Because that 6 distance between nodal point 7 and 1, Locrian and Lydian, is like the center of the whole system, and that's why it has that. So you end up with that kind of phenomenon. But anyways, now I end up with the same kind of thing, because again I kind of tweaked it so that the 7, the Locrian, is actually a long 4th, not a short 5th, but it's still 6 notes away either way, and you end up with that again. So we saw that before. So let me see. So if I did count it from another, let's pick another node. Like if I picked the Mixolydian, and then I said I wanted to go a long second modal half step, that'd be 5 6 7, gets me to the Locrian. So here's a Locrian right there. And then I would want to go a short 4th modal half step up. If I had a Mixolydian down here, 5, nodal point 5, 6 7 1 2, because 7's the end. So it goes to the Dorian. So the Dorian would be like out here. The Dorian, maybe I could put it right above if I want that same construction. But the Dorian would be a long distance, so I'd have to flatten it, and I'd end up with a note outside of the key, because it has a long 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 note away, and I'd have to flatten it to a 6 note away. So if you do it from any other, so the only key it actually fits in would be the Lydian, but you kind of cheat to fit it in there, because the distance to that node is actually not a long 4th modal half step. It's a short. It's not a short 4th modal half step. It's a long 3rd modal half step. Okay, I'm all, my head's all confused. But anyways, if I was gonna name that. So if that's the root, it would probably be better to have it down here. Oh, I could put it right there. No, it needs to be back here. Gives you that tension to switch the chords or something. Do something funny. All right, so what would I call that? I'll see what I'll try to turn chat on. What would I call that? From a naming convention, I'd have to call that normal naming convention would be a G. It would be a put this out here. It'd be a G. It'd be a G major, and then like you'd have to say like add the flat 5, or maybe 5 flat or something. Could I write it that way? And then drop the 5th, which is weird. Drop, because you're dropping the 5, but then you're adding the flat 5. See, but the 5 is usually in the normal triad, so you can't just add the flat 5 and not like the normal 5, because the triad, the major indicates a 5, right? So, but if you use a coordinate system, you could just be like, it would be a lot easier. Like if I just called it like at 4 o'clock, it's a mixolydian, which I'm going to say is an X mixolydian, because the M looks like a major and minor, so I use the X for mixolydian, mix. And then it'd be a mixolydian 1 because it has the standard stack of one modal, that's modal whole steps, and then the modal half steps, it has 4. It's actually 4. It's actually, and this is where it gets weird, because now it's outside the collection, which oftentimes I would just pick like the nodal point. So it would be a 1 point, or Ionian ocean. So you could pick the modal point, which would be 1 point. So now that point indicates that it's just the ocean note by nodal point. If I pick relative position, it would be x1, and then it would be this one. I wanted to say it was a long 4th modal half step. But I only have, so I could say, but I'd rather say it's going to be a 3 plus, because I want to go one way all the time. So 3, it's going to be 3 sharp. So what I'm trying to do is avoid having 2 names, going back into the 2 naming convention. That's why I think if it's outside the collection, using a point is okay, but then it's not really transposable as easily. And using relative position, I'd kind of like to have a default of counting one way rather than going, okay, I'm going to count both ways. But you could do it either way anyway. So I could, like, I could say, now I'm going to rethink this whole thing. X1 3 sharp could be long or short, but no. And then if I want to just put a number, I could put 513 hashtag. And if I want to know the collection of notes, it's going to be 4:4:13 hash, right? And so, because that means it's at 4 o'clock, and then you take the normal stack, which is only going to be 1 modal whole step up, because we only have the 3rd, we don't have the 5th. See, I can eliminate the 5th if I use a coordinate system, and then I put either the point if it's outside the collection or the distance, trying to name the distance, always going kind of from on the sharp direction, not naming it 2 things, sharp versus flat, which makes it a little bit cleaner if you're going to do it that way. But obviously, the fact that we're adding an ocean note should be evidenced to me in the chord construction, whereas up here it's not evidence, right? It looks like an ugly name, but it doesn't really tell you directly that there's no you're missing a note out of it. So anyway, I'm gonna try to, I think, see what chat was saying last time. right, let's try a joke break. Just kind of rambling. Stupid joke. Nothing too deep on the joke, just a pun. So let's see. I think. I don't know, I can't remember. All right. As the Rocky from the up against a formidable opponent. Used to be in the 80s or something, right? But hopefully I'm just kidding. I just tried to put a boxing person in there. I don't know. And unfortunately, boxing regulations only allow 2 mitts, not 4. And it was a formidable opponent, but they only let me have 2 mitts. So right away I was fighting at half capacity if I want to beat this formidable opponent. So, but that's okay. I don't need 4 mitts. I don't even need 2 mitts. I'll do it with just one mitt. People think I'm trying to show off, but no, I'm trying to learn from the best. I try to do everything with one hand. One hand these days. I feel like one hand, right? Because why? Because like whenever like God intervenes in like human affairs, it's always the hand of the Lord, right? He's one-handing it the whole time. Unless he full-bodied it, he did do that once. But oftentimes it's just like he's doing the hand of the Lord. He's doing the one-hand thing. So always one hand. Never, and the Lord grabbed it with both hands and kind of awkwardly shuffled it, or like Homer Simpson, the stranglehold of Homer Simpson or something. No, it's just one hand, efficient, confident, And so I figured that I should try to imitate that. So I should probably be practicing doing everything like with one hand, everything one-handed. Every day I ask myself, could I do this thing with one hand? Carry the groceries? Sure. Open the door? Yeah. Type an email? It's a little bit more difficult, but it's doable. Pickle jars are humbling though, because every pickle jar basically saying you are only human. Because you need 2 hands typically. But sometimes I don't even want to deal with a pickle jar anymore but I won't give up. At some point, I will be witness. Gather round for today. This lid shall be moved by the hand of Bob. One hand, But people stretch forth his hand, and lo, the vacuum seal was broken. I don't know. I try to clap one-handed, doesn't work. Not even the Jedi could do that. They don't even do the clapping with the one. I try to applaud with one hand, doesn't work, but I feel like God appreciates the effort on that one. High five, perfect one hand, although using somebody else's hand is kind of cheating. I feel like, don't you? I mean, at this point, I'm convinced the closest thing humans have to performing miracles is figuring out how to do stuff like with one-handed. I don't know. Okay. I've tried to go too far on the pun of one hand. Anyway, let's see. The animation is still pretty good though. So let's see what it says if I tell it to just give this terrible audio on it. See what it comes up with on my terrible script. Let's see. We'll turn all these on. The animation is better than the new Moana. They should have just put the old Moana back in the theater. It would have done great. You could have just put the old one on the big screen that has like cartoons and stuff. Probably would have made $1 billion. But no, I don't know. The Rock just doesn't look right at all.
I was up against a formidable opponent. You will fall. Not today! Okay. Unfortunately, boxing regulations only allow you 2 mitts, not 4. So right away, I was fighting at half capacity if I want to beat this formidable guy. That's the rule. You'll have to adapt. I'll show them! But that's okay. I don't need 4 mitts. I don't even need 2. I'll do it with 1. People think I'm trying to show off. But no, I'm trying to learn from the best. Read the Bible. Unless... Always one hand, never both. So I figure, if it's good enough for... Every day I ask myself, carry grocery? Come on, you stubborn jar! You are only human. All right, you stubborn pickle jar, let's do this. You can't handle our might! Oh, come on. But I won't give up. And Bob stretched forth his hand. I try to clap one-handed. Doesn't work. I try to... High fives? Perfect for one hand. At this point, I'm convinced...
All right, I don't know. It's got good animation. The joke is not great. I will keep on noodling around maybe for another couple minutes. Working on my rhythm on it. So I'm just hitting this. I'm trying to hit like this is at 4 o'clock. This is an A. And then if I reach up here, I have an A. And then and if I have the open string, I have another A. So it's a redundant, you know, A, you know, which is kind of interesting sounding on the guitar. And then I could do the same thing down here with the D. If I can reach up here, D, open string D, you know. And so that, and then I'm just trying to work around this area with shuffle, you know, with fast picking or whatever, just to see if I can get a rhythm that's interesting. You know, wasn't that when I was watching that Rocky 5, wasn't like Drago, like they did the recap again, and like Drago, the other boxer was Ukrainian, they made him, right? Wasn't he? So then after the USSR broke, like they should have a Rocky whatever we're on now, where like Rocky is like teaming up with Drago, who's like from Ukraine, and then like going after the Russians who like drugged him up and stuff. And like didn't treat him good or something. And then I don't know. I feel like there's a sequel. I don't know. I can't remember. Whatever. I'll just give my thing here. They can go fight Putin, a Putin pet bear or something as they take. I don't know. Whatever. Let's finish off the Red Cross song. I was like in the middle of it, wasn't I?
When flesh may break, but faith won't kneel. Still, when flesh may break, but faith won't kneel. The dragon rages foul and fast, but truth shall hold if truth shall last. Its talon pierced his iron shield. His blood flowed out upon the field. sky. The pool began to purify. He slept beneath its healing wave and rose again, no longer grave. Though struck and scarred, he did not die, for grace had soaked what sin could try. Tomorrow's dawn shall burn anew, and truth shall strike its trial through. Oh, brave of heart, oh, soul-made steel, when flesh may break, but faith won't kneel. The dragon rages foul and vast,